Church Slavonic, also known as Old Church Slavic, was the first Slavic literary language. The 9th-century Byzantine missionaries Saints Cyril and Methodius of Slavic, Greek descent, or both, are credited with standardizing the language and using it in translating the Bible and other ancient Greek ecclesiastical texts as part of the Christianization of the Slavic peoples. It is thought to have been based primarily on the dialect of the 9th-century Byzantine Slavs living in the province of Thessalonica. It played an important role in the history of the Slavic languages and served as a basis and model for later Church Slavonic traditions. And some Eastern Orthodox and Eastern Catholic churches use this later Church Slavonic as a liturgical language to this day. As the oldest attested Slavic language, OCS provides important evidence for the features of Proto-Slavic, the reconstructed common ancestor of all Slavic languages. History. The language was standardized for the mission of the two apostles to Great Moravia in 863. For that purpose, Cyril and his brother Methodius started to translate religious literature to Old Church Slavonic, allegedly based on Slavic dialects spoken in the hinterland of their hometown, Thessaloniki, in the today's Greece. As part of the preparation for the mission, in 860–863, the Glagolitic Alphabet was created and the most important prayers and liturgical books, including the Aprikos Evangelia, the Psalter, and Acts of the Apostles, were translated. The language and the alphabet were taught at the Great Moravian Academy and were used for government and religious documents and books between 863 and 885. The texts written during this phase contain characteristics of the Slavic vernaculars in Great Moravia. In 885, the use of Old Church Slavonic in Great Moravia was prohibited by Pope Stephen V in favor of Latin. Students of the two apostles, who were expelled from Great Moravia in 886, brought the Glagolitic alphabet to Bulgaria. There it was taught at two literary schools, the Preslav Literary School and the Ohrid Literary School. The Glagolitic script was originally used at both schools, though the Cyrillic script was developed early on at the Preslav Literary School where it superseded Glagolitic. The texts written during this era exhibit certain linguistic features of the vernaculars of the First Bulgarian Empire. Old Church Slavonic spread to other southeastern and eastern European Slavic territories, most notably to Bosnia, Croatia, Serbia, Bohemia, Lesser Poland, and principalities of the Kievan Rus, while retaining characteristically South Slavic linguistic features. Later texts written in each of those territories then began to take on characteristics of the local Slavic vernaculars, and by the mid-11th century, Old Church Slavonic had diversified into a number of regional varieties. These local varieties are collectively known as the Church Slavonic language. Apart from the Slavic countries, Old Church Slavonic has been used as a liturgical language by the Romanian Orthodox Church, as well as a literary and official language of the princedoms of Wallachia and Moldavia, before gradually being replaced by Romanian during the 18th to 19th centuries. Church Slavonic maintained a prestigious status, particularly in Russia. For many centuries, among Slavs in the East it had a status analogous to that of the Latin language in Western Europe, but had the advantage of being substantially less divergent from the vernacular tongues of average parishioners. Some Orthodox churches, such as the Bulgarian Orthodox Church, Russian Orthodox Church, Serbian Orthodox Church, Ukrainian Orthodox Church and Macedonian Orthodox Church, as well as several Eastern Catholic churches, still use Church Slavonic in their services and chants today. Script. Initially Old Church Slavonic was written with the Glagolitic alphabet, but later Glagolitic was replaced by Cyrillic, which was developed in the First Bulgarian Empire by a decree of Boris I of Bulgaria in the 9th century. In Bosnia was preserved the local Bosnian Cyrillic alphabet, while in Croatia a variant of the Glagolitic alphabet was preserved. See early Cyrillic alphabet for a detailed description of the script and information about the sounds it originally expressed. Phonology. For Old Church Slavonic, the following segments are reconstructible. The sounds are given in Slavic transliterated form rather than in IPA, as the exact realization is uncertain and often differed depending on the area that a text originated from. Consonants. The letter denoted different sounds in different dialects and is not shown in the table. In Bulgaria, it represented the sequence T, and it is normally transliterated as Saint for that reason. Further west and north, it was probably C or TC, like in modern Macedonian, Torlakian and Serbian. Croatian. DZ appears mostly in early texts, becoming Z later on. The distinction between L, N and R on one hand, and palatal L, N and R on the other is not always indicated in writing. When it is shown by a comma or diacritic over the letter. Vowels. Accent is not indicated in writing and must be inferred from later languages, and from reconstructions of Proto-Slavic. The pronunciation of yati differed by area. In Bulgaria it was a relatively open vowel, commonly reconstructed as a, but further north its pronunciation was more closed and it eventually became a diphthong, j, or even I, in many areas. The ye vowels I and U are often called ultra-short, and were lower, more centralized and shorter than their counterparts I and Y, U. They disappeared in most positions in the word, already sporadically in the earlier texts but more frequently later on. They also tended to merge with other vowels, particularly I with E and U with O, but differently in different areas. The exact articulation of the nasal vowels is unclear because different areas tend to merge them with different vowels. E is occasionally seen to merge with E or in South Slavic, but becomes YAR early on in East Slavic. O generally merges with U or O, but in Bulgaria, O was apparently unrounded and eventually merged with U. Phonotactics. Several notable constraints on the distribution of the phonemes can be identified, mostly resulting from the tendencies occurring within the Common Slavic period, such as intrasyllabic synharmony and the law of open syllables. For consonant and vowel clusters and for sequences of a consonant and a vowel, the following constraints can be ascertained. Two adjacent consonants tend not to share identical features of manner of articulation. No syllable ends in a consonant. Every obstruent agrees in voicing with the following obstruent. Velars do not occur before front vowels. Phonetically palatalized consonants do not occur before certain back vowels. The back vowels, Y, and, as well as front vowels other than I, do not occur word initially. The two back vowels take prothetic, V, and the front vowels prothetic, J. Initial, may take either prothetic consonant or none at all. Vowel sequences are attested in only one lexeme and in the suffixes, aa, and, each, of the imperfect. At morpheme boundaries, the following vowel sequences occur: I, O, ow, oi, ow, oo, a, eo. Morphophonemic alternations. As a result of the first and the second Slavic palatalizations, velars alternate with dentals and palatals. In addition, as a result of a process usually termed iotation, velars and dentals alternate with palatals in various inflected forms and in word formation. In some forms the alternations of C with C and of DZ with Z occur, in which the corresponding velar is missing. The dental alternants of velars occur regularly before E and I in the declension and in the imperative, and somewhat less regularly in various forms after I, E, and R. The palatal alternants of velars occur before front vowels in all other environments, where dental alternants do not occur, as well as in various places in inflection and word formation described below. As a result of earlier alternations between short and long vowels in roots in Proto-Indo-European, Proto-Balto-Slavic and Proto-Slavic times, and of the fronting of vowels after palatalized consonants. The following vowel alternations are attested in OCS: I, Y, U, E, E, I, O, A, O, E, A, Y, I, E, I, Y, E. Vowel alternations sometimes occurred as a result of sporadic loss of weak yeah, which later occurred in almost all Slavic dialects. The phonetic value of the corresponding vocalized strong j is dialect-specific. Grammar. As an ancient Indo-European language, OCS has a highly inflective morphology. Inflected forms are divided in two groups: nominals and verbs. Nominals are further divided into nouns, adjectives and pronouns. Numerals inflect either as nouns or pronouns, with 1 through 4 also showing gender agreement. Nominals can be declined in 3 grammatical genders, 3 numbers and 7 cases: nominative, vocative, accusative, instrumental, dative, genitive, and locative. There are 5 basic inflectional classes for nouns: O, J stems, A, Y stems, I stems, U stems, and consonant stems. Forms throughout the inflectional paradigm usually exhibit morphophonemic alternations. Fronting of vowels after palatals and j yielded dual inflectional class O, jo and A, ya, whereas palatalizations affected stem as a synchronic process. Productive classes are O, jo, A, ya and I stems. Sample paradigms are given in the table below. Adjectives are inflected as O, jo stems and A, ya stems, in 3 genders. They could have short or long variants, the latter being formed by suffixing to the indefinite form the anaphoric third-person pronoun j. Synthetic verbal conjugation is expressed in present, aorist and imperfect tenses, while perfect, pluperfect, future and conditional tenses. Moves are made by combining auxiliary verbs with participles or synthetic tense forms. Sample conjugation for the verb vesti, to lead, is given in the table below.